These lessons could change your future. Just one small click. Subscribe and grow with us.
So what? By truly understanding human motivation and creating the right environment, organizations can help people to discover their innate drive to become naturally more productive, fulfilled, and happy. This book explains how to do just that. Introduction. There's a gap between what we know about motivation and how businesses and society currently operate. Most of our systems are built around the carrot and stick approach, or external motivation, which are not always effective and may sometimes backfire. To maximize productivity and motivation in the 21st century, we need to upgrade our approach to tap on and increase intrinsic motivation using 3 elements: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Developing a new operating system. Like computers, societies have operating systems. Our laws and social-economic frameworks are built on assumptions of how things work and how humans behave. Pink traces how these underlying assumptions, and consequently society's operating systems, have evolved over time. He calls the systems Motivation 1.0, Motivation 2.0, and Motivation 3.0. Motivation 1.0 focuses on biological needs. The system assumes that humans are driven by our biological and survival needs. That is, food, security, and sex. Motivation 2.0 focuses on extrinsic rewards and punishments. This system assumes that human beings seek rewards and avoid punishments, in addition to satisfying our biological needs. Such assumptions are still deeply embedded in most aspects of our lives today. Motivation 2.0 works, but not all the time, because of how we have changed in 3 key areas. First, we've changed how we organize what we do. Today, more and more people are open sourcing or sharing their computer program codes openly with the public. This is one trend that illustrates how people are changing the way they contribute and organize their efforts, driven by the intrinsic satisfaction of mastering a challenge and the desire to contribute to the community. Although traditional businesses used to be mainly profit maximizers, we see a growing number of businesses today that are purpose maximizers. Second, we've changed how we think about what we do. The assumption that we are wealth maximizers is flawed, because we do not consistently seek to maximize wealth, nor do we always respond rationally to extrinsic incentives. Third, we've changed how we do what we do. Motivation 2.0 is based on the belief that people need extrinsic rewards and close supervision because they do not enjoy their work. However, many jobs have become more interesting and self-directed. Moreover, external motivation may work for algorithmic tasks that follow fixed rules and instructions, but are counterproductive for heuristic tasks that require creativity to solve novel problems. The book introduces the new operating system of the 21st century, Motivation 3.0, or intrinsic motivation. The system is built on the assumption that, besides biological urges and extrinsic motivation, humans also have a desire to learn, to create, and to make the world a better place. In short, it recognizes that there is a third drive or intrinsic motivation which powers people of the 21st century. The third drive includes 3 elements. 1. Autonomy, the desire to direct our own lives. 2. Mastery, the desire to get better and better at something that matters. 3. Purpose, the desire to serve something larger than ourselves. We'll elaborate on these 3 elements later in the summary. For now, let's examine how we can upgrade from Motivation 2.0 to Motivation 3.0. The starting point is to provide baseline rewards. Baseline rewards, such as salary, some perks, and benefits, are prerequisites to motivation. That is, people must minimally be paid for a fair and equitable amount. Without a healthy baseline, there is no motivation to speak of. However, beyond that baseline, money or carrots and sticks can actually dampen rather than increase motivation. Why do carrots and sticks sometimes backfire? First, it is empirically proven that introducing or increasing incentives does not always improve performance and may in fact reduce performance. This is especially if they are contingent or if-then incentives. That is, if you do something, then you will be given a reward. Second, rewards tend to narrow our focus, which is helpful to get us to focus and run faster on a fixed path or to handle algorithmic tasks. But they tend to hinder right-brain thinking or creative solutions. Third, people sometimes do things for intrinsic satisfaction or feelings that money can't buy. Introducing rewards may extinguish the nobility and interesting aspects of these actions and reduce the desired behaviors. Lastly, rewards may end up encouraging undesired behaviors and attitudes, including unethical behavior, short-term thinking, cheating, and shortcuts. Given these considerations, when and how should we use carrot sticks? Well, you should apply the right motivational approach to specific tasks involved. Let's start by looking at routine tasks. When people are performing dull, routine tasks that involve only mechanical skills, there's little or no intrinsic motivation to be lost. In such cases, you can use rewards to boost performance. Use this method with this 3-step approach. First, explain why the task is necessary so you provide meaning for an otherwise boring task. Second, acknowledge that the task is boring as an act of empathy. Third, provide autonomy and give people some freedom over how they complete the task. On the other hand, if you are dealing with non-routine conceptual tasks, don't offer if-then rewards. Instead, offer now-then rewards. That is, now that you have completed this task so well, here's a surprise or bonus as an incentive. This is assuming that the prerequisites of baseline compensation and the 3 elements of autonomy, mastery, and purpose are already in place. Ideally, when dishing out now-then extrinsic rewards, try to follow 2 additional guidelines. Use non-tangible rewards like praise and positive feedback, rather than just cash and physical trophies. Provide specific feedback, focusing on their effort and strategy rather than just the results. The self-determination theory, SDT. To stay relevant, businesses can update their approach to motivation using the self-determination theory, or SDT for short. According to SDT, human beings have an innate drive to be autonomous, self-determined, and connected. If we focus on creating environments where this drive can be expressed, people are more productive, fulfilled, and happy. Organizations should focus on these drives when managing their human capital by creating settings which focus on autonomy, our innate need to direct our own lives, mastery, our desire to learn and create new things, and purpose, our desire to do better by ourselves and in our world. Pink also classifies human behavior into 2 main types. Type X, those who are primarily motivated by extrinsic factors, and Type I, those who are fueled more by the inherent satisfaction of an activity. Obviously, Type X's are motivated by intrinsic satisfaction, though their main motivator is external rewards like money and recognition. On the other hand, Type I also welcome external rewards, but their main motivator is intrinsic factors like freedom, challenge, and purpose of the task. Generally, Type I behavior generates better results, health, and overall well-being. In the long run, Type I's also almost always outperform Type X's. Hence, Pink advocates that we move ourselves and our colleagues gradually from Type X to Type I. Since our behavior traits are not fixed, anyone can shift from being extrinsically motivated to intrinsically motivated. Now, let's zoom into the 3 elements of Motivation 3.0. The first element is autonomy. Autonomy essentially means acting with choice. It is different from independence, as you can choose to work interdependently with others. Having a sense of autonomy can produce significant improvements in performance and attitude. A Cornell University study found that autonomy-oriented businesses grew 4 times faster and had 3 times lower turnover than control-oriented firms. Based on the SDT, we are naturally type Is, self-directed and autonomous by nature. However, most of us have been conditioned to adhere to the outdated concepts of management, which assumes that we need to be managed and prodded to move forward and need to be given direction to stay on track. Even the concept of empowerment is built on the pretext that the organization holds the power and is generously sharing it with its employees. Given the right environment, we will return to our natural type I state. One such environment is the results-only work environment, or ROWE, conceptualized by Callie Ressler and Jody Thompson. Here, people don't have fixed work schedules. They are free to do their work where, when, and however they wish, so long as they get their work done. People are treated as partners, not mere resources, and hence need to direct their own lives. Encouraging autonomy doesn't mean people need not be accountable for their work. On the contrary, Motivation 3.0 assumes people want to be accountable, and the way to encourage type I behavior and enable superior performance is to give autonomy over 4 essential areas. 1. Task, that is, what they do. 2. Time, that is, when they do it. 3. Team, that is, who they do it with. 4. Technique, that is, how they do it. The second element of Motivation 3.0 is mastery. Mastery means becoming better at something that matters, and this can only be achieved through deep engagement or flow. When in flow, we are typically performing at a notch or 2 beyond our current abilities, which stretches our body and mind to produce a level of focus and satisfaction that is extremely rewarding. We lose ourselves positively in what we are doing. While flow is essential to mastery, it happens in a moment and hence doesn't guarantee mastery, which happens over time and with repeated practice. There are 3 laws that govern mastery. First, mastery is a mindset. Our beliefs shape what we achieve. Type X people believe that our abilities are finite, hence they value performance over learning goals. On the other hand, Type I people believe that our intelligence and capabilities can improve infinitely, hence they value learning goals over performance goals. Second, mastery is pain. Mastery requires grit, all-out effort, and deliberate practice over a long period of time. It often involves periods of hard work and effort with little improvement, and doing what you should do even when you don't feel like doing them. Third, mastery is an asymptote. An asymptote is a straight line that a curve approaches but never reaches. You can approach and get extremely close to mastery, but it is impossible to fully realize it. This can be frustrating, but also alluring at the same time. How do we apply these 3 laws? To enrich and motivate people, organizations can create conditions for people to make progress, then highlight, recognize, and celebrate that progress. The third and final element of Motivation 3.0 is purpose. Purpose is about linking your desires to a cause that's bigger than yourself. It provides a context for autonomy and mastery. Motivated, productive, and fulfilled people typically work towards a higher purpose beyond their self-interest. The main difference between Motivation 2.0 and 3.0 is that the latter places equal emphasis on profit maximization and purpose maximization, not just a focus on profit maximization alone. There are 3 ways to express purpose motives in the organization. First, through goals. Place purpose as the priority and use profits as a catalyst rather than the key objective. Second, through words. Choose words that are humanized and lean towards a purpose beyond self-interest, focused on why rather than how. Third, through policies. By allowing people to pursue a higher purpose on their own terms. So here you are, the three powerful elements of Motivation 3.0, autonomy, mastery, and purpose, that can unlock our inner drive. Here are some of the other useful details in the book to look out for. Pink's concept of Motivation 3.0 is built upon 4 decades of scientific research, and he shares in detail many experiments and studies that support the ideas in his book. He dedicates some 80 pages of his book to the Type I Toolkit, which is a guide to putting his ideas into action. The toolkit includes, amongst other items, strategies for awakening your motivation, a fitness plan for getting and improving motivation to exercise, ways to improve your company, office, or group, tips for compensating people the Type I way, tips for parents and educators to help our kids, and other resources such as reading lists, examples of business thinkers, glossary, and a discussion guide.
You're watching, learning, feeling. Will you stay with us? Just one click to subscribe means everything.
If your journey feels stuck, you're not alone. We've got you. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps more curious minds discover this content. Subscribe to Being and Beyond and join a growing community that thrives on knowledge, perspective, and personal growth. And if this video resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Your support fuels our passion and pushes us to create better content. Welcome to Being and Beyond.